Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back. This is Doug with Sound Saviors, and we are back with some more audio tech talk. Shout out to everyone who took a look at the first video and watched the first video. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support, all the shares, and feel free to comment on the videos with any advice, any tips, any questions. Go ahead and hit me up. Hit like, hit share, go ahead and subscribe, hit the comment section. Appreciate you guys. As you read in the title, we will be discussing issues with small stages and small rooms and smaller venues. The place where I mostly do sound at, it is a fairly small, I want to say it's a small stage. I want to say it's about 6 feet in length, I guess, from the wall to the heading towards the room is probably about 6 feet and another 20 feet in width. Now currently we have about five vocalists at one time. We also have 3 musicians. We have a keyboardist, a bass player, and of course a drum set, a drummer. One of the issues that we run into a lot, since the stage is fairly small relative to the rest of the room. The rest of the room is a pretty good size for live audio. It's on a smaller size, on a smaller scale, but it's still a really nice size room to be able to hold the capacity of the volume that we pump out. You know, it's a good size. It's a good size smaller room. It's not too small. It's not big, but it's a good size. We get by with a lot of good audio, a lot of good quality audio through the system the way we run it in our size room for our environment. And that's also another thing that you want to take a note of when you are running sound for, let's say, a church or a school or a smaller or any kind of venue that's not huge. You want to take it takes into consideration to knowing your environment, knowing what works. The way we have everything set up at this current location might not work at the next location, you know, depending on the way the environment is, how many people are in the room, what the, you know, how long, or is it a wide room or is it a long room, how is your system set up. All those things come into account when you are setting up your system and you want to get the most premier sound from your system. You want to be able to max out your quality. Back to the smaller stage, for the size room we have is good, but the stage that we have for this room, in my opinion, is a smaller stage. So what happens is when you have a smaller stage and you're running, you know, let's say 5 vocalists, a lead singer, or 2 lead singers and 3 backgrounds, or 1 lead singer and 4 backgrounds, you kind of tiptoe the line of feedback. So that's one of our biggest obstacles that we encounter, endure, and we got a really good lock on it. You know, we got to the point where we have leveled and balanced everything to the best of our abilities in this room, and you know, we still sometimes deal with feedback, and of course it's because of the close proximity from the stage monitors to where the vocalists are standing. The more vocalists that you add to the stage, the more chances you have of getting ringing through the monitors. And being that the stage, as I mentioned earlier, is only about, I want to say about 6 to 7 feet from the wall to, you know, heading towards into the room, you know, that's really not a lot of space. My experience with that, I would say, is when you're in this situation, you have to find that level on your board that is just under those peak levels. Of course, after you gain all the mics correctly and after you run through your EQs and you find the frequency levels that is going to prevent you from feedbacking too much, you have to find that level on your board where, you know, it's like an imaginary line in your mind. You know, once you cross this decibel on that fader, you know you're tiptoeing into the world of what I like to call feedback city. Now, also important is that you want to go ahead and communicate this to to the talent that's on the stage. You want to be able to let them know, hey, I could bring you up on the monitors, but just to let you know, we're tiptoeing that line. If we keep pushing you up some more and more, you know, we're going to be entering the realm of feedback. As I mentioned in the previous video, as a sound tech, someone who's operating the board, who's in the booth, you want to go ahead and facilitate what the talent needs. What the vocalist needs, the musicians, whatever they need, you want to be able to provide and service that to them so they can go ahead and be able to do what they do effectively. You really don't know what the monitors sound like up in the stage. You're controlling the house sound. You're focusing on the house sound, making sure that's balanced and mixed correctly, as opposed to upstage, you're taking the talent's word for it. So if they say, hey, we need more of this, you go ahead and give it to them. The only way you could tell is if you put headphones on and you solo out that aux send or that bus send, and you can have some idea what it sounds like. But unless you're really up there, you really don't know what it all sounds like live. With the music in the house going forward and the monitors pushing in the opposite direction. You want to be able to communicate again with your talent and say, hey, I can bring you up, but just know that we're tiptoeing, into that feedback realm. And that's something that you discuss, during your rehearsal times, during your warm-ups. That's obviously not something when you go live, but you have to go ahead and take a step forward and say, hey, yeah, I can provide that for you, but just know with what we're working with, the size of the room, the size of the stage, all those things play a factor. And I think that a lot of people really just don't understand that. We want to be able to provide the service that the talent needs so they can do what they need to do effectively. You don't want to interrupt or be a hindrance towards them when they're doing what they're doing. Always be forever learning, communicate effectively, know your environment, know what you're working with, and do the best with what you have and with what's giving to you. So if it's the type of room that you have, don't complain about the room's too small, too big. Work it out, try and fix it, and once you max your capabilities and you can't go no more, that's when you start communicating, hey, this is about as much as I can give you without hitting tremendous feedback and just, ruining the whole experience for everyone. And that's all I got. Thank you so much. For those who are watching right now, go ahead and please hit the like button, share with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be able to get all future content through Sound Saviors. Thank you so much, and I'm out. Peace.